Here's something that's crazy. Technology. Like, what the fuck? There's so much of it, and so much to do with it. Doorstops.
Car stops.
Phone in ice. They even say these things could take us to the moon.
Oh yeah? Well, we'll see about that.
Fucking thing didn't even make it out of the troposphere. Now you're telling me that this get us up there? And these are the scientists that we're meant to be trusting. Myth busted. But you might be surprised to find out that there's one other use to these little fellas than all the above. Add Make Goldtrans to the list, because, oh baby, can they. I mean, I think that they can. I'd have to hear it to believe it. It takes me 3 minutes to find a safe photo that I've cropped somewhere on this phone, and now you're telling me that this makes Goldtrans? Get real. That's true. And always set your save file output path to somewhere that you can remember, you fucking psychopath. Oh, okay then. I believe it. You've outlined a strong series of arguments and convinced me it can be done. And the aptly named the Maniac has gone and done did it. In fact, moving his fingers from here to here, doing a little bit of this, and doing some twirly whirlies like that is exactly what created the chaotic madness of this album. I know, it's true, and it still amazes me every time I think about it. Now you might think that hardware sounds more real and organic than software, and therefore that software run on a phone's operating system could sound kinda two-dimensional and flat. Yeah, I do. Well, you used to also think that a phone could take you to outer space, you fucking grifter. Oh, sorry. These things clearly can't do that. But boy George, can they make Goldtrans. They make Goldtrans so hard. Well, the Maniac does. The Maniac makes it hard. Big Deepak runs this project between India, his operating system's a blue light ridden screen, and the dreamlands of Nah. Release after release, he adds a new dimension to his music, finding a way to take it to the next level. He takes the RAM from 2 to 3, then 4 to 6. 32 gigabytes of storage goes to 64, then 128. Micro SD cards get added. Retina displays improve. And extra terrestrial sounds get more extra terrestrial. So a big setup release like this, with big beautiful cover art like that, from a big beautiful label like Neo Girl Records, gets me hard. That's right, the Maniac gets me hard. The circuitry of the Logic FPMK does fuck all for world peace, but sure does store the necessary megabits to create a soft but firm kick. 150 beats per minute of madness, and more leads than you could re-circuit. Only a few Goldtrans artists go full HP Lovecraft on us. Generally it means wild whipping acidic leads. For tentacles, deep, dark, cold, barren atmospheres. For the depths that the deep ones rise from. And speed. Lots of speed. It can be the heavy metal of Goldtrans music, and it fucking rocks. In Unlighted Chambers, we get bright leads over sludges of dark terror. We get an intro, which I love for its ability to put you into the right headspace for a little bit of Gold Shock therapy. Reason 4 of 18 that intros are great. And we also get an exhibit of bombastic roars that pretty much make it clear we need to buckle up and hunker down for the terrifyingly exhilarating worlds that we're about to experience. Cult comes in with a 3mm auxiliary input and really good Bluetooth, which now that I think about it, never ended up killing anyone. Unlike this cult that murked some of the deep ones and a couple of flying polyps. It takes us to Lovecraft land on acid to meet the Shoggoths, in structural green edifices of light, oceans of decrepit space, strange cataclysmic noises, and shadowy mountain valleys somewhere near Kadatheron. Got it? Effluvium of Cthulhu tries to woo us into Azazel's big, disgusting mouth using a strategy of funky fun, which now that I think about it, is actually kind of a really good strategy. It's kind of hard to believe more people don't use it. Funky fun! It just makes sense. It's also hard to believe that someone could breathe this much life into one of these fucking things. It's got a hyperdimensionality driving it forward and up. Solid lines turn into acidic flutters, and screams from the calling chaos take things up another notch as this sycophantic maniac decides to get a little wild. Awakening Run to Goth makes me want to blanch Soxadoth. Now BD Pack is just showing off. Lasers of acid and melodies of the night gaunt speed us from world to world. Take a big deep breath and dive on down to the seas of Yugoth, because there won't be no time for no breathing down here. I love how the bells grow more intense towards the end of the final act. I love what feels like 15 different tentacles all working together at light speeds, and I love the extra processing power required to make something this chaotic. Did the Maniac just teach me about love? So now we know this guy know how to get a little crazy. As a side note, I gotta say, this is one of the most cohesive and best told works I've heard from this sociopathic maniac. Even Blessings of Shagna Fawn, which feels like it starts in a comparatively calmer dimension, manages to find its way to a place where it lives up to the name of that big, fucking elephant god. What the fuck, imagine making eye contact with that thing in the woods. Now fucking thank you. I'd much rather listen to this track, cause this track is beautiful, and Shagana Fawn is ugly. And I'd damn well taken the quarter Huster too, just cause I can. And I want to. And somehow it gets even more wild as sweat forms on the maniac's brow and deliberately pinch finger and thumb meet to twist a little flat dial, which causes explosions of technological synapses, triggering connections of omniscience, thus making this damn track. Oh my fucking gigabyte, is this track wildly extraordinary, and I'll give you 3 cogent reasons why. The first is that it's 100% molecular atmosphere. The second has something to do with complicated circuitry. And the third is more of that going, what is more of what I think. It's kind of crazy to think that it took us over 11,690 years to get to the moon, which is pretty unimpressive for a species with opposable thumbs and half a brain. But what is impressive is that it only took us another 51 years to get some of these noises coming out of these blocks of addiction that we have here today. Now, that's a timeline I can work with. Damon Sultan comes along to get things even crazier. I'll be honest, on my first listen I did get a little bit nervous as I tried to imagine how much crazier things could possibly get. I didn't realise they were about to get a little bit more, 1000%. The melody comes in from underneath, gets stolen away, and is reintroduced at a point where you forget all about it because some other noises had come along and taken your attention. Then, it grows so fucking big and impressive that it short circuits all over the place, summoning that inhabitant of Carcosa, accidentally, but also serendipitously, for a wild fucking time. Each track exceeds another benchmark of psychotherapy, and this one is just the next on the list to get there, in a flurry of planetary tentacle-slapping madness. What I'm trying to say is that this fanatical maniac is not fucking around today. Just have a listen to the Temple of Nephron Ka. This track puts the n and the k into efla a, and the t and the u into empa. It's obese, grotesque, headless, and utterly indescribable. It creates visions of ineffable monstrosities, the description of which would be wholly terrifying and unfit for the imagination of the public, and I love it. It shocks your mind of all thoughts and is a testament to how something that can simultaneously multitask your life's reminders, calculations, alarms, distractions, entertainment, and excuses, problems, and solutions, as well as your sick, twisted, encyclopedic interests, can also seemingly handle Goa trance. Big fucking wows, who would have thought? It follows the upward curve of bigger, beastier tracks, one after the other, like a ladder, with each rung getting you closer to madness. This time, the ingratiating maniac decides to throw in some kinda blue, kinda black, soul-like growls over the top of the other layers to assert a little bit of dominance. Yeah, but wait a second. What the goddamn heck was up with the originator of madness? The biggest smile came over my face when this psychopathic maniac went all Kasogthar on those inductor-powered capacitor-harboring diodes. In all seriousness, this track made big happy emotion. In here. But also gave me the idea to freeze my phone, so how the fuck and what the fuck? This track is huge and bigger than anything in my immediate vicinity. I swear to the sleeper of Ryla, the one who lies dreaming, that this is without a doubt one of the biggest maniac tracks that I've ever heard. But I don't know if I can call it the originator of madness, because we kind of reached madness like 4 tracks ago. But it's definitely the originator of a new kind of madness. Full psychosis of iridescent visions. One I was going to have a lobotomy for. Or did I already have my lobotomy? I can't remember. But I feel happy. Would you like some iced tea? All I can remember is the screaming sirens, melodic revs, sharp melodies, and a doctor's coat. I don't know what you're meant to do after a track like that. I guess you conjure the sleeper of Nakai and try your best to back that shit up. Well, thermal solenoids align, electrical transistors are open, and finger goes swipe. On screen. Sacrifice to Sarthagua backs us up without a problem. We wouldn't still be here if the chaos and madness wasn't a delight to the senses, and it is because we are, unless we aren't, in which case like and subscribe. I tell you what, this kind of music would have been illegal 73 years ago. But look at us now, as developed and as evolved as we've ever been. Yet somehow this evolutionary point in history still seems less impressive than this track. The didgeridoo sounding background horns give this track a mature grooviness. The playful synth work keeps things fresh, which ain't easy to do at 152 beats per minute. And the general vaporous viscosity of this track makes me feel like worshipping the deep old ones. Not that they would care, or notice, but like whatever. When has that ever stopped us from having a little worship? Neo Goa Records knows how to pick 'em, and the maniac knows how to get 'em got pickin'. This album has an otherworldly exoticism, oddly enlarged bulbous atmospheres, disproportionately provocative leads, and makes me say, fuck yeah. With this release, the maniac takes himself from the foothills of the mountains of madness and into those big, windy peaks. It's entirely gargantuan, piercing, unwholesome, with a sickly phosphorescence, and is damned well beautiful. I don't have much else to say about this release. I think it's fantastic. It's undoubtedly one of my favourite of Deepak's works. It fits in well with the Neo Goa catalogue and exceeds the job of encapsulating Lovecraftian cosmic horror of the unknown while bashing you over the head with it, in a good way. I won't say to buy this so that one day this maniac can upgrade to some hardware, because the system he is going right now seems to be working. And if it ain't broke, then fix later. Don't fix later. Don't fix it all. But I will say to purchase it, so this guy keeps releasing bangers. Who knows what could come next? All I know is that without this kind of music, we live in a slightly safer, warmer, brighter world, which is not the kind of world I'm trying to live in.